Hey friends, I'm Jason Odell, and I'm really excited today because guess what game? The UPS guy. And today I'm going to be unboxing the brand new Nikon D850. I know you all been waiting to see that. It just came out and was released to stores today. What is today? September 8th. It's Friday. So I've got this camera. I'm going to take it out of the box, unpack it, and talk about a few of the quick things that you might want to do when you set it up and get it going, and we'll take a look at this beautiful new Nikon DSLR. So let me grab my utility knife and get going. Kids, don't try this at home without adult supervision. It's sharp. Now I got my Nikon D850 from Roberts Camera in Indianapolis. Big shout out to Jody and all the guys at Roberts. Thank you so much for getting me on your priority list for this camera. Okay, box, here we go, peanuts, right, all the fun stuff. So let's take out some of these things. So first thing first, don't forget your invoice. Keep your receipt. And we got a gold box in here. Awesome. There we go. That's really what you wanted to see, right? Yonder Nikon D850. And I also ordered spare battery, the Nikon EL15A. Okay, so this is a variant of the battery that's been pretty much standard on all of the non-single digit Nikon DSLR. So the D810, the D750, the DX bodies, the D500, all use the EL15. This is the 15A. I believe it's pretty much the same with the possible exception of its capacity. So if you have an EL15, you should be able to use it with the D850 until these guys get charged up. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get your battery on the charger. I'm looking at the specs here. So this is a gray one. This is a black one. You can tell them apart. This is the old EL15. They're both 7 volts, 19 milliamp hours, and 14 watt hours. So as far as what is different, I have no idea. But hey, Nikon, you changed the battery around. If you want one of these, they're about 50 bucks. I do recommend Nikon brand batteries. I've had bad luck with third-party batteries. So that's one thing. Fortunately for me, I got this guy charged up. Let's open up the D850. Gold box, happy time. Okay. If I can get this open, pull the tab out, and we'll set these things aside. Okay. If you've done this before, you know the drill. There is a warranty card right in here along with the manuals. You want to keep these. I generally keep them in the box itself. You'll fill out the warranty card, register online. Always do this, especially here in the USA, because Nikon will want to verify your product. If you ever need to send it in for warranty repair, this is what you do. We've got the manual, the quick start guide, both in English and in Spanish. I will set those over here. And then we'll get to the good stuff. Okay. We've got the plug. We've got the D850 strap, because we know you all want to use those. The little cord clip adapter here. I just generally leave these in the box. Okay. Here is the charger. So you will want to take this out and attach it to its cord, or in this case, its little plug. Put that in there. This goes in here. And what's cool about this is that along with the previous designs, you can flip this little switch and you can plug this into the wall either straight, or you can plug it into a wall outlet, depending on what you're connecting it to. Also in here is a USB 3 cable, so you can connect to your computer. I've got a bunch of those. And of course, the standard EL15A battery. So the first thing you should do is put these guys on the charger, give them about an hour till that light on the This light will blink until it is charged fully. It'll turn solid. Get it charged up. I'm going to cheat because I have a pre-charged battery. Okay, bubble wrap time. Everything else I'm going to put back in the box, because what I find is that this keeps me from losing things should I ever want to sell the camera. I've got all the information here. I'll tell you some tricks in a minute. All right, so let's put our gold box back together. Oops, I forgot that. Strap back in. And I'm going to set this aside. Now we get to the good part, the actual camera itself. Bubble wrap, save that. I may need it later. And here it is. All right. Look at that. Now, looking at this, we can see that if you've got a D500, this is going to look very similar to a D500. The top prism looks a little different. Looks like there's some microphones in here for the video. Video capability is one of the strong points of the D850. 4K video, I believe 8K time-lapse or something like that, but a little bit more than what I usually do. I'm more of a still guy, as you probably know. The side, we've got a microphone and headphone port, headphone jacks. We have the USB port here, and we've got an HDMI port there. So for the video folks, this left side is your friend. On the right hand side, we have the door, and this is where you put in, we've got two slots here. XQD slot, which is what I intend to use, as well as an SD slot. So you can have both cards in. You can use them for backup. You can use them for different ways of transferring your images. Now let's take a look at the features. I'm going to put this battery in here, and hopefully it'll power up. Okay, so this is my old battery. Yep, I see E, and I turn it on. And there we go. So it is alive. This is a good sign. I've got it on. And we need a lens for this. So let's go and get a lens. And I'm going to talk you through some of the things that you should do as your first steps when you set up pretty much any new Nikon, but the D850. All right. I have got a lens here. This is my 50mm Nikkor 1.8G lens. So I'm going to remove the body cap, a BF1B. This is the slightly newer design body cap if you're keeping score at home. And we'll put this lens on. Oh, before I do that, I'm going to turn the camera off. It's always a good practice with Nikons. They just tell you, turn the camera off before you put a lens or a flash on. So we'll mount this on. Turn the camera back on. And there's, wow. Okay, so the first thing I'm seeing right here is that this viewfinder is huge. I know Nikon said the magnification was the largest of any of their DSLRs, but I just looked through it for the first time, and that is a big, bright viewfinder. That is awesome. Let's see how this baby sounds. There we go. Now, the camera will be in demo mode when you first set it up. It's got single shot, continuous low, and continuous high, which should be 7 frames a second. There we go. 7 frames continuous shooting at 45.5, 46 megapixels. That's impressive. So what we want to do is do some basic setups. Let me take you through the back. So on the back here, what you're going to want to do when you get your camera, you look through the camera, you're going to want to adjust the diopter. That's one of the first things you want to do. So focus on something, adjust the diopter if necessary by pulling this little guy out, turning the diopter knob, push it back in to lock it. Be careful you don't stick your finger in your eye when you do that. I'm going to peel off the OSO protective covering off the back. Here's our back LCD. You'll notice that it comes out and it's articulating. This is really one of the features that I really love about the 850. I've been using the 810, love the 810, but an articulating screen makes things extremely useful. So I'm going to do a few quick setup things to set things up the way I like, and you know, if you like that too. One of the things on here is this is a touch screen, so I'm going to have to get used to that. But if you go to your playback menu, one of the things that I like to do is go to this option that says rotate tall, and I'm going to turn that off. Why am I doing that? When I take a picture in vertical or portrait orientation, when I turn off rotate tall, it doesn't make it small on the screen. It doesn't rotate, so it's vertical. Why do I do that? Because most of the time when I'm shooting vertical, I'm on a tripod or I'm looking at it this way. So if I want to look at this image on the back of the screen this way, I get the full screen on a vertical image. So that's the rotate tall option. The other thing I'm going to do right away is I'm going to go into the photo shooting menu, or I'm going to go into the wrench menu, the setup menu, and we want to set up a few things. So the language is already set to English because this is a USA model. I'm going to set my time zone and date, so the time zone setting. This is important for when you're traveling, you want to sync your clock. So let's go ahead and set the time zone. I'm not in London. I am in the Denver time zone because I'm here in Colorado. So I'm going to set that. Click OK. And then over here to date and time, it's 2017. What is today? September. So that's 9. And it's the 8th. And the time is, my time is 12:20 p.m. I'm going to get that all set up. Okay, so I got my date and time set up. Press OK. You can turn daylight savings time on or off. So I'm going to turn that on. So now it thinks it's 1:20. So I'm going to go back to my date and time. Go back here. Set it back to 12:20. Okay, so the daylight savings time feature that I just talked to you about sets your camera ahead an hour if you enable it. So right now I'm in daylight savings time, so I need to set the standard time to be 1 hour back from where I really am. That's good. That's another setting, and I'm going to go in here, and then over the next hour or so, I will go in and customize the autofocus controls, the layout the way I want. That's a subject for a different day. What I really want to do right now is just take a look at the shooting and the display itself. So let me go get a memory card for this. The Nikon D850 has 2 memory card slots, like I pointed out, and you access them through the side door. Okay, just flip that open. There's a larger slot and a smaller slot. The larger slot, which is what I'm going to prefer to use, is for these cards, which are called XQD cards. Now, these have been around since the Nikon D4, but we're now finally starting to see them appear all throughout the Nikon camera line. And this is a Lexar. You can also buy a Sony. You want to find the cards that have the fastest spec if possible. That's going to write to the card very quickly. So I'm going to put this XQD card right in the slot, push it in there, and when I do that, this little eject button pops up. There's a quick and dirty way to format a card with the Nikon D850, and that's a 2-button card format. The first button, you push them simultaneously. The first button is the delete the trash can where it says format, and then the second button is the ISO button up here at the top right. Now, if you're not used to the Nikon, if you haven't used the Nikon D500, the control layout's going to be a little different. They've moved the ISO button from here to here, and this replaces what used to be your mode button for your exposure mode. That used to be over here. So if you use a D850 with a D500, you're going to have the same control layout as well as the D5. If not, you're going to have to get a little bit used to it. So I'm going to hold down these 2 buttons, the ISO button and the trash button, and you just hold them down. And what will happen is, as I hold those down, the top LCD panel will start blinking FOR, format. And when you are good to go, you press them both again simultaneously, and it will format the card. There we go. So now I should be able to hit image review, and it should say folder contains no images. That's what you want to see. All right, so let's take a quick look at this. I'm going to put the camera into aperture priority mode, and we'll shoot wide open. The base ISO setting on the D850 is 64. That's really nice. You can expand that out. You can go down to 32. You can go up all the way to, let's see, it goes all the way up to, the in spec is 25,600. I don't know if you can see that. That's in spec. You can then take it above that, high 0.3, high 1, high 2. So you can go 2 full stops above that, but keep in mind you'll get noise. Okay, so I'll take a quick picture here. And zooming in, the LCD is fantastic on this camera. The colors are rich. The auto white balance seems to be spot on. This is great. You can zoom right in, and you can use the touch screen to navigate through your pictures, which I only have one, so let me take another one. Okay, so now when I play back, I can use this touch screen. I can go through pictures. I can use it to zoom in using the pinch method like you would have on your smartphone. So cool features in the touchscreen. If you don't have one, they do take a little while to get used to. On the back of the camera, the layout is pretty much identical to the D500. Standard D-pad button with the lock switch. The info and the I button are toggle between video and still live view mode. All of our menu and zoom buttons on the left side. Dedicated AF on button up here. And then this little joystick here, which you can configure any number of ways. By default, it mimics the D-pad here. I like to configure mine to move the autofocus point around. It also has a center press function, which you can configure however you want. Just go to the menu, and in the custom menus, go over to F, Controls, and go to F1, Custom Control Assignment. And here you can assign any function you want to any of these buttons. So some people like to make the center press of this the auto exposure lock, AE lock. Some people, you can make it AF on. There's lots of different ways to configure the buttons, as well as these buttons on the front. The preview, the aperture depth of field preview button, as well as the function 1 button. Okay, you can customize those however you want. There's also a function 2 button down here at the bottom left of the camera. So lots of ways to configure this camera. That's a subject for a whole nother podcast or a whole different story. But again, the D850 looks to be amazing. I got to go try it out now. I mean, come on, right? So enough unboxing nonsense, and happy shooting. Don't forget to check out my website at luminescentphoto.com. Send me a question. Use my Ask Jason page, and I'll hopefully answer it on the air. Take it easy.